ShinRobjira.
Family-sized tin can. What's going on there, friends and neighbors? I am ShinRobjira, and today we are going to be talking about the giant Mechagodzilla from the Playmates Godzilla vs. Kong line. Now we're just gonna get right into it. Giant Mechagodzilla, blockbuster movie. We got this badass picture of Mechagodzilla on the back over here, looking very shiny. And that read-up is the exact same read-up that we've been getting with the giant figure, so let's just unbox. Ayo, what the f? Somebody won't snip without me. A curse upon the crops. Schneep, 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 schneep. So the box is basically the same. I mean, you got the yellow and the orange in there. You got the Godzilla and the Kong. Screw this. Let's just get Mechagodzilla together, shall we? More tin can dong. Don't touch me, I'm sterile. Oh, wow, that was a lot simpler than I thought it would be. Alrighty, getting the family-sized tin can out of his family-sized box, I really have to praise this figure for its attention to detail. There is a lot of stupendous-looking detail on this thing. Let's get started. Starting at the profile of the head, again, we've got these plates over here that look like they could be the attention to detail for gills on Mechagodzilla. The face this time around, as compared to the 6-inch version, is much more lovingly detailed. Look at all the little servos, little blocks, these things that would count as his teeth. Something that I didn't cover on the 6-inch version of this figure is the detail that is on the head. There is a lot of detail on top of the head, but on this version, oh man, we've got panel lines galore. Look at all that. And looking at the other side of Mechagodzilla's face, yes sir, we've got screw holes, but that's okay because look at all this. This is what we're focusing on right here. Lot of fantastic detail going on. Thankfully, the front view of Mechagodzilla this time around is a lot less cute. Definitely looking a little bit more mechanized death machine than the other version. Definitely looking a lot more fierce too, and he's got these mean little parts over here that makes it look like he's scowling. He's ready to rip and tear into our king and monkey. As we can see here, there is present detail and color on the inside of the mouth, and I really can't get the best shot of it. But the lighting of the mobile torch over here shows you the different variations of color in there, which is mostly just going to be black, and the major detail in there as well, which kind of looks like a tire. Yeah, I don't know what they're going for on the inside of the mouth, but the detail is there, the paint is there, we talked about it. Lot of lovely, lovely detail on the arms over here, much like the 6-inch version. This one, it's a little bit more loud. You can see all the intricate, tiny details that went into making this figure, and it looks really, really good. I have to commend Playmates. They made a truly fantastic, gigantic tin can figure, and it's paying off for them. The opposite side of the arm, while much less detailed, still does have a lot of intricate little details in there, really aiding in this figure's man-made aspect. Taking a look at these big, meaty metal claws, we can see a lot of fantastic detail in this as well. A lot of bolts, a lot of little servos going on here that would allow the fingers to, move. And from the front view, this just looks fantastic. It's like a mechanized face hugger of death. Bit of a spoiler here for the articulation, but I have to show off the detail of the inside of the hands. That looks awesome. Even this little part right here has some detail to it. Just look at all of that fantastic detail, dude. This is very, 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 very nice. I just wish this silver that he was casted in or painted was a little bit brighter. That's all. But anyway, there's what the top of the hands look like, and there is what the bottom of the hands look like. Very nice. As per usual, you're gonna get the same thing on the other arm over here, on both sides, as well as both hands. Practically the same in every single way. Taking a look at Mechagodzilla's chest over here, again, the additional detail on this figure really does help and show this design a lot more faithfully. I mean, we got all the different panels over here. We've got more streaks of red, which I wish this figure had so much more of. Oh man, it would have looked so cool with more red, but I digress. The detail present from the neck up here down to about his little mechadong over here really is fantastic. And from a side view, there's even more beautiful detail. We've got the rib cage looking area over here. We've got all these little panels, got a little bit more of the dead space over here, which I wish didn't exist, but $20 figure, what are you gonna do? This just all this just looks fantastic. Just beautiful. Even this side with the screw holes, this looks awesome. Really, really, really fantastic stuff. Before we move on to the thighs, I forgot to mention that there's actually detail on the underside of the arms as well. I'm spoiling so much articulation articulation stuff right now. But yeah, look at that. A lot of really nice stuff going on here. This is a really nice looking figure. But anyway, these thighs. The detail on these things is fantastic. I mean, you all remember how much I gushed about the thighs and the legs and the feet on the 6-inch figure. This is even better. Deeper amounts of detail. Lots more amounts of detail. And from the side, it looks just awesome. A little bit more plain over here, but it matches the arms, so I really can't complain. It does get a little bland on the inner thigh over here, but once you pass the kneecap, you've got all this, which we'll take a closer look at in a second. Same thing on the opposite leg. Lots and lots of detail. So looking at the kneecap to thigh to foot area over here, a lot of fantastic detail. These still look like wheels. They really, really do. I don't know what to tell you. The ankles over here look awesome. All the little minimal detail over here looks really, really great. The same thing is pretty much repeated on the opposite side of the ankle into the foot. And looking at the feet, they're big, sprawled out mechanical lizard feet. I mean, they look great. It's just there's really not much to really tell. This guy's a little bit crooked, probably from the packaging and everything. We do have some very nice detail on the thumb toes over here. They looking really, really nice. I'm pretty sure that there's an actual term for them, and I called them thumb toes, and I apologize. Got more magnificent detail on the front of the lower shins, and we've got the same amount of detail on the opposite foot and ankle and shin. And from the back, though, you're not gonna get too much, but I'm telling you, man, wheels, they look like wheels. And looking at the back of the upper thighs over here, we have these two plates, which are a little bit on the malleable side, not too much. Doesn't look like they're actually going to get in the way of articulation this time around. However much there actually is of it. And from a side view, these just look like they're going to be on the back of Mechagodzilla's legs. It doesn't look like they're going to have much of functionality there, but I could be wrong. And now taking a look at Mechagodzilla's back and dorsal fins, or whatever they will be called, we have very minimal detail on them. Got a little bit more detail on the back of Mechagodzilla's head, and everything looks really, really cool over here. Very, very nice. Only 3 rows of dorsal fins for Mechagodzilla, and they're actually painted silver on the opposite ends over here, so they're not just all red. Looking very, very nice, might I add. And before I continue on, I just wanted to mention that the little missile launchers over here are present on this figure as well. Just, you know, much more detailed. Much more detailed. So anyway, moving on to the tail. The tail is only going to have a singular row of dorsal fins. They're going to be silver on both sides and red throughout, and it looks very, very nice. A lot of fantastic detail. Bringing you nice and close, you can see all the different panels there, all the different little themes of detail there, and it all comes to a head with this twin-bladed tip of the tail. Looking fantastic. Deadly, you know, soft so nobody hurts themselves, thankfully. And as per usual, you'll get the same amount of detail on both sides. Alright, so that's pretty much it for detail and paint. The only other paint you're gonna get is red on this, and that's gonna be the eyes, the chest, and the back and the tail, so let's just move into articulation now, shall we? One thing I really must mention before I continue on, because I know I forgot to mention this with the Mechagodzilla review, absolutely love that all of the dorsal fins over here are painted all the way to the tip of the tail. That just looks fantastic. And I'll give my man's time to shine over here. All the dorsal fins, all the way up to the tip of the tail. Good on you, Playmates. I appreciate that a lot. So anyway, tin can. You will be able to go all the way around at the midsection of the tail. It does have a little bit of resistance, but it is supposed to move, so don't worry about it. Just be gentle. You will be getting a full rotation at the base of the tail. Very, very nice. And now moving on to the legs. Now, for anybody who hasn't seen a review of this figure yet, this figure might be bigger, it might have more paint, and it might be more detailed, but it does lack the articulation of the 6-inch figure. The legs and the arms do not move out, they only move forward and back. As you can see, the legs can only go so far up, well, back I should say, and they can only go so far forward. Now, this almost fooled me, but it does look like you'd get a bend at the knee, but I assure you, you don't. This doesn't work, and I feel like if you force it, you're gonna snap the leg in half, and you really don't want to do that with how randomly this thing goes in and out of stock, so you're not going to get a knee bend, you're not. I know it really looks like it from the front and the side, but I assure you, those just appear to be assembly lines, and that's nothing more. And now, working with the feet over here, you will get a swivel. Everything is a lot softer over here, including this panel right here, so it will allow a full rotation of the feet. So this part back here can swivel between all of this. It might get a little marked up, but you do what you do, right? And up next is the arms, and the arms can go up pretty dang far. The shoulder pads up here are of a softer material. So if you really want Mechagodzilla's arms all the way up, you can do that. Unfortunately, when it comes to moving the arms back, you'd have to move the legs further back for the arms to go further back and further back, but they're always going to be hitting this right here. So no full rotation. I mean, I'm sure somebody will be able to do it. I just don't want to. I don't want to break this. There, unfortunately, is no bend or swivel at the elbows yet again, but there is going to be a swivel at the wrist, and you will be able to open up the claws very, very wide to a different degree. So they can be closed, they can be half open, they can be, relaxed, or they can be wide freaking open like this. And there is absolutely no articulation in the head at all. And again, no articulation in the mouth. I just wanted to cover this as well. Shoulder pads, as I said before, softer material. These a little bit less softer, but softer nonetheless. This over here is also softer, as are the legs and the hands. And as expected, I'm sure, the dorsal fins are going to be of the same softer material. The outer rows are much more malleable, while the center rows are a little bit more on the solid side. Hopefully, yeah, see how these bend easily, but this one does not? There you go. The same thing essentially for the tail, just like the center row on the back. They're a little bit more on the harder side, but still squishy and hopefully not painful. And that is about that, friends and neighbors. The detail is fantastic. The paint is extremely minimal, but it's something that pretty much just comes with common grounds of having a Mechagodzilla figure. You're gonna have the mostly silver and gray, and you're going to have the tiny other colors that are for the eyes or for different parts that Bandai or another company will paint or leave unpainted. The same thing happens here. I do wish that the silver that was used for this figure was a little bit brighter. I wish that it was actually, silver and not gray, but the look of the figure is nice. In fact, I just wish the major color of the figure was the color that was present on the sides of the dorsal fins. Just that bright reflective silver. But I digress. It's nice to have a giant Mechagodzilla figure. I do wish that some of the articulation from the 6-inch figure carried on over to this one, but it's not that big of a deal. The other giant figures were pretty limited on articulation as well. Kong might have been able to move his head, but Godzilla couldn't. Godzilla just moved his arms, his wrists, and his ankles, and part of his tail, and that's essentially what goes on here. This guy's got a little bit more than I would say Godzilla and Kong had in terms of articulation. But for the most part, everybody, if you can snag this figure, I definitely say get it. I will say that the 6-inch figure, in terms of articulation, is obviously the better figure because you could do so much with that. This boy, he's just big, got the paint, got the detail, got the whole freaking thing. I hope you so enjoyed, friends and neighbors, because I'll be back very, very soon, later on today, with the Mega Monkey review. Patrons, thank you all for becoming ShinRobjira. Patrons truly do appreciate ya. If you would like to become a ShinRobjira patron, you can follow the links in the description below to my Patreon page. Check out the tiers, check out what you'll be getting with those tiers. Don't worry, I'll be adding more soon, I promise. And you should also check out all my social media, but mainly my Twitter and Discord. The Discord server is popping off yet again. Very welcoming peeps over there. And yeah, that's it for this review. I hope you so enjoyed. If you did, click that subscribe button, leave a like, or leave a dislike, whatever you want to do. I am ShinRobjira. This was Mega Family-Sized Tin Can, and I will see you all later. I meant giant-sized, family-sized tin can, not mega. That guy's probably coming later.